A new world record for making the most first ascents of previously unclimbed mountains in Nepal's history. His name is Sean Burch. He spent more than a month climbing mountains in some of the most remote regions of the Himalayas. Burch became the first person ever to climb the top of 31 mountains. He climbed 16 hours a day and says that the journey was as grueling as it was exuberant. Take a look here at him on top of the world.
No one in the world has ever seen this. I tell you what, it makes all that hard alpine mixed climbing all worthwhile. I tell you that much. So nice. Now the most important thing is to get back down alive, to climb for another day.
And Sean Burch now joins us here on the ground in Washington, D.C. Sean, it's a pleasure to have you. What a cool experience. What made you want to do this, to climb so many mountains?
Well, I'm really into exploration, especially 21st century exploration. Like, everyone thinks there's nothing left, right, except for space and the deep oceans. But I feel there's plenty of space left remaining around the world that has not been seen, that is truly unexplored. So that always the driving motivation to stand atop a summit, a mountain that no one has ever even, no one's ever touched, no one's ever stepped before, is something. It's an honor, and I've done 4 expeditions on first ascents, and I really feel that I'm gonna continue it because it's a tremendous feeling.
You know, I've got friends who are adventure seekers, so I wonder if your answer is similar to what I would expect here. But, you know, people will see this and they say, hey, I mean, did you fear for your life? What's it like for you when you're doing this? Is there a concern? I mean, obviously a worry.
Yeah, you always have fear for your life, but you can never doubt yourself. Once I start the expedition, you have to believe 150% in your heart that this can, that will be resolved, that I will reach this goal that I have set for myself. Because if you start having doubts at any time, that is where something can go really wrong, and you could possibly get injured or even worse and die. So.
Sean, another part of this trip, a very important part of it, was documenting how climate change has affected these mountains that you were climbing. What did you see when you were there, and how important is it for you to make sure that message gets out?
Yeah, I thought, the best way to really is to see, like, you have in Antarctica and you have in Greenland, in areas where no one's touched it before, yet you see the real changes of climate, of global warming. And that's the same thing on these mountains. No one's ever been there before, but you see drastic changes, like wide range in temperatures. I'd be looking at a mountain and thinking, okay, I'm going to go climb that, and then have a ton of snow on it. Then the next day by noon, all the snow would be gone. And I talked to some of the nomads that were in those regions, and they're like, this is unprecedented. This hasn't, in the last 5 years, all the snow is disappearing. And even though it's great to document this, at the same time, it's very sad, because you just see the rise in temperatures and what it's doing to the land and to the earth.
But climate change denial, what do you tell people who question whether this is really happening? I mean, you've been there, you've seen it.
Yeah.
What do you tell those people who have doubts?
Yeah, I'm always awed by people who do not believe in climate change. I've been to the North Pole, I've been to Greenland, I've been, again, this trip to Nepal. I've been on top of Kilimanjaro where I actually see the glaciers and all the blocks of ice just deteriorating right in front of my eyes. And I'm always blown away, like, how could you not believe that climate change is not happening when all the facts and all the scientists say otherwise,
All the facts and all the scientists, do indicate what you're talking about. What's your next goal?
Well, my next goal is, I actually have a documentary coming out next year, and I'm also a motivational speaker, so I'm going to stay with that. But I always will be doing expeditions. But again, I want to hit this first ascent genre and keep documenting the changes of the Earth in areas that no one's ever been to before, and with global warming and climate change.
Sean, I want to ask our director if we can play this soundbite that we just played a moment ago. I want to replay it. I want to ask you a question after it. Can we replay this real quick?
Woo! No one in the world has ever seen this. I tell you what, it makes all that hard alpine mixed climbing all worthwhile. I tell you that much. Ah, so nice. Now the most important thing is to get back down alive, to climb for another day.
So, Sean, I just have to ask you last question and briefly here. What's it like? What were you thinking when you're there on top of the world? Not everyone gets to do what you did. What's that feeling like to be there?
It's a humbling experience. I am so thankful when I get to a summit, and I do. I thank the gods and for the honor to be here, because really it truly is an honor. And I never forget that with each and every single mountain I've climbed around the world. It is an honor to be where I am. I just try to live life to its fullest and appreciate every single second, because it is so important.
It takes a real focus and strength to do what you do. Sean, thank you so much for being with us. Sean Burch.
Thank you.
And a great note to end the show. I'm George Howell here at the CNN Center in Atlanta. World Sport is up next. You're watching CNN, the world's news leader.